Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Chef. And this movie came out in 2014, directed by Jon Favreau, and it also stars him as well as the main character. And I believe this is the first Jon Favreau film that I've seen where he's a major character, like the main character of the film. I thought he was good in the film, and he has proven that he can be a good actor, and he wasn't distracting to me at all. I felt as though these characters were well realized and well established, and they're likable characters as well, and fun to watch on screen. And this movie is 2 hours long, and while I do feel as though it could have been a little bit shorter, maybe 15 minutes I can do without, I wasn't really bored, and I was entertained throughout. And also, I do kind of enjoy mostly about this film is kind of the story that this movie is kind of telling that is kind of behind the scenes a little bit, like a narrative behind the film. And what I kind of view this movie as is just a metaphor of how Jon Favreau just hates working in the studio system and would much rather be doing his own thing. And you can see that throughout this entire film. And while I wouldn't say this movie is a film that has a distinct voice in it, I do feel as though, in a way, this whole movie is his voice, like him communicating like something that he would want to be doing. And I'd rather be doing this. And I just see myself being very successful at doing that if I can just have my own voice and not constantly being told or controlled of what I can and cannot do in his films, and with his character being a chef and him being told in this big restaurant of, oh no, you are a chef and you are originally hired and told that you have all these things and you're in control of the menu, but actually I'm altering the deal and saying like, no, you can't do all these things. You're going to do it my way, or things are just not going to work out between us. And I liked that about the movie. It felt like it had a voice. It was very critical with not only critics but also just anyone really. And I was getting Birdman vibes while watching this movie, with that movie being critical on not only actors but also critics. I was kind of reminded that a little bit, and I feel as though that helped this movie out as well. And I can't say one was ripping off the other because they both came out the same year, and I feel as though it's more coincidental that they do have some similarities. And while I do prefer Birdman over this movie, I do feel as though this movie has plenty to offer, especially when it comes to like my enjoyment of what's being expressed throughout the film. And there's plenty of good scenes in this film, and I do like the one scene where our main character runs into potential legal trouble. And I do kind of like how, in a way, that's almost like a. I do also kind of enjoy where that is in the film, and how that could easily like tear everything apart and almost kind of ruin the film if it wasn't handled correctly. But the way they handle it, I felt was done so very well, and I liked it a lot. It was one of the most memorable moments throughout the entire film for me, and I'm probably going to always think of that moment in this film when I think of this movie. And I do also kind of like how, with Jon Favreau also having directed Iron Man 1 and 2, there was a scene, like it's very briefly, it's not even a scene, just one shot, and it's just a montage of our main character and his son hanging out early on in the movie. You hear like a blasting sound in a movie theater, and it's the exact same sound effect that was in the Iron Man movies. So whenever Iron Man is using like whatever comes out of his hands or whatever, that blast, I felt as though that was kind of cool. And also, this is like a tiny detail in the film, but the food in this movie looked delicious. I was hungry. I wanted to eat. I felt as though that was a strength in this film. And there are just other scenes in this movie that I can just name off that were very effective. Like the drama in the film felt natural to me. And I like the first scene that we get to with cooking in the food truck and how chaotic that can be. That was very well communicated, and I liked all that. But I did have some issues with this movie. One of them was this movie didn't impress me with its filmmaking, as I do feel it the same way with any other Jon Favreau movie. Like, I'm not really going in there for the filmmaking necessarily to find like a distinct style. It's more or less just the story, and I do feel as though that's where he thrives best is if he has a good script to work with, he can make it entertaining. Like Elf is very entertaining, and Zathura has some fun moments, and Iron Man works pretty well. And there was a little bit of a romance in this movie that was like barely touched on, and it kind of just felt forced to me. But in a sense, I do feel as though it does kind of serve somewhat of a purpose because this movie is kind of just an imagination of what Jon Favreau would like to be doing and wished, in a sense, would happen. And it is kind of funny retrospectively that this movie came out in 2014, and this came out right after Iron Man, Iron Man 2, and Cowboys and Aliens, but also before Jon Favreau went back into the studio system and made the live action remakes of The Jungle Book and The Lion King, which I haven't seen yet, and also most recently the Star Wars Mandalorian film that I've yet to see, and I'm not really interested in watching. And it wasn't until recently where I discovered that he was the director behind the Star Wars Mandalorian film. I was like, oh, that was him. I didn't even know that. And overall, I do have my own problems with this movie. And when I first finished it, I was thinking to myself, yeah, that was good. And there are some scenes I would like to come back to maybe one day. And it was just aging better for me the more I thought about it, and how there's kind of like a narrative behind it in a sense. And it was just really clicking with me. And I just liked what it was doing and communicating. And I was like, you know what? This is a solid movie that I really enjoyed. And with the whole movie, just having a message and a voice in it, like just trying to communicate something that like actually matters to the director, I give a lot of credit to that. And I do feel as though the movie has value because of that. And this movie had an $11 million budget and grossed nearly $50 million, so pretty good. I'm glad it was a success. And from every movie that I've seen that Jon Favreau has directed, I've seen everything from Elf all the way up to this movie, Chef. I haven't seen anything that he's done after this point, and I haven't seen his first movie yet, Made. I'll check that out at some point, but out of everything I've seen, I would say this one's my favorite. I really enjoyed it, so do check this movie out whenever you get the chance. It's currently on Netflix. That's how I watched it. Obviously, there's other places to watch it, but I'm just saying where I saw it, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Chef a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Chef, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.